Hey folks, totally forgot I was going to record this video of the ignition switch in the 1993 Subaru, the one I've nicknamed the ticking time bomb. It's been ticking ever since we bought it. But recently had the key break off inside the ignition switch when my daughter was driving it. Luckily she was able to get it home, but after she got it home we couldn't turn it anymore. So I was left trying to figure out, how do I fix this? Well, I figured it out, and I wanted to share that information with you. So I will do so. Of course, doing it after the fact, I'm not going to be quite as good as it would have been if I'd actually done the whole process, but anyways, let's go over here. So the first thing you got to do, I'm going to try, can I flip the camera? I don't think I can. That's too bad. Anywho, first thing you got to do is remove the plastic that goes around the steering column. And you do that, there's two screws. This is the bottom piece, and those two little holes at the very bottom, there's a screw in each one of those. So you take those screws out and you pop the top off first, and after you get the top loose, then you hit the tilt lever. Well, you really can't see that, but she is right over here. Yep. And then you can slide the bottom piece out. If you try to slide the bottom piece out with it tilted down, it won't clear down underneath there. It just won't do it. And the same with the top piece. If you don't have it tilted up or down, tilted down, then you won't be able to get it out. So that's step one. So hang on a second. I'm going to switch the camera around and we'll go on to step two. Okay, now step two, you would think would be, there's two screws holding this cover, this metal plate on. You would think that would be step two, because that's covering your ignition switch. Interesting thing, those screws are Loctited in something fierce. I actually, and the screws are really hard. I actually stripped the tip off of one of my screwdrivers trying to get it loose, and when I put a drill to it, nothing happened. It just spun. So, I'm going to tell you what the actual step two is. The actual step two, if you look on the top here, there's two Allen-headed screws. You can take those out. And once you get those out, believe it or not, with a little wiggling and a grimace or two, you can grab a hold of the ignition switch and wiggle it until it comes out into your hands. Now there's normally another switch right here. That's your key presence switch. I opted not to put that back in because I don't like the bell. And there's another switch over here which I think has something to do with the park lock. I did put that one back on, but those don't really matter a whole lot. But on the back side of the switch, which you can get at really easy once you get it wiggled on through here, you can't see where that thing in the way is right there. That little round disc thing with the one screw. So that is actually just that one little black screw. Alright. Why can't I see it? There we go. That one little black screw you see in that little tab actually holds the ignition switch itself into the switch. So after you pull those Allen screws, wiggle it on out. You can take that little black screw out over here on this side with it hanging down, and you can actually start and drive the car with just that switch loose. But seeing I kind of like having an ignition switch instead of a flat tip screwdriver, I ran into the next problem. This is designed to change what they call the tumbler, so the key. You're supposed to be able to rotate it to a certain spot, push in a little button, which I got the old tumblers right here. See that little button right there? You're supposed to be able to push that in at a certain spot and then slide it right out. That's all there is to it. Well, as we started the whole problem, I could no longer rotate it. So what I did is I stuck this in a vise with, I believe, just a Torx bit for my drill set that fit inside the same size as this button. And I just squeezed it in till I heard the crunch, so I knew it was there, and slid it right out. I mean, I knew the set was junk anyways, because there's a key down in that hole that you're not getting out. It is wedged bad. And then putting it back together was pretty easy, because I bought a new tumbler, and since it came with a key, I could rotate it to the right spot. So the button pushed, you could actually just push it with your finger, go beep 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 beep, and then you put it in, and it just slides in and it goes click, and it's in. Then you bring it out here, bolt the switches you want back on them. Oh, just to tell you, this switch on top, the key present switch, you can't get that out while the tumblers are in it. It's supposed to slide in behind that. So don't let that worry you. I just cut the wires because I knew I wasn't putting that switch back in anyways once I figured out what it was. But you can either cut the wires or just let it dangle there until you get the new tumblers. And, well, it's easier to work on that if you take it out. But anywho, then you finagle it back through. It actually goes back in, at least for me, a little bit harder than it came out. Reattach the switches, slide it back through, put the two Allens in, and then pop your covers back on, and just like that, she's all fixed. The only downside is this key does not match the doors or the trunk, but I do have a spare key that does. It just means you have to carry two keys for this car now, so not so bad. Well, thank you all for watching. Not quite right. That's the way I do things. Probably the right way would have been to get this thing off, but that wouldn't happen. There's enough room to slide it out, so I did it. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.